Diamondbacks lose Game 3 of the World Series to the Rangers. They lose this one 3-1. And the three people that tune into these recaps are probably anxiously awaiting the comedy yuck yucks of Daffy. Well, I'm done. I'm done. Not in that serious way, but I I'll get more into it after the recap. Really isn't a whole lot to recap. Um, Brandon Pfaadt went up against Max Scherzer, and I was surprised to see the amount of hope folks had with a rookie going up against an old vet. And hey, it was fun for 2 innings. 1.5. I love that Walker got a double in his first swing, and it foolishly gave me hope. Tommy Pham hit a single, and Walker got thrown out at home by Garcia. You could blame Walker. You could blame Paris Chica. They're both at fault. You know Garcia has a good arm. He got thrown out at home. Diamondbacks didn't score. Rangers put up 3 the next inning, and that was the majority of the game. Sure, when Chapman came in, I had a little bit of hope that maybe, possibly, we can contain him up, and they did. We got a 1 run in with no outs, and Carroll and Marte didn't do anything. Carroll looked at strike 3, and Marte grounded into a double play immediately after. That was the game. Shout out the Rangers bullpen. I like that Gray came into today, so he's not in tomorrow's game. Now that matters. But he shoved. Rangers bullpen did a good job besides Chapman. And that's the recap of the game. But I can't invest in it anymore. That doesn't mean I'm giving up. It doesn't mean I'm not going to not watch the rest of the World Series. What I mean is, like the Phillies series, I'm emotionally taking myself out of it, but this time it's a little different. When I did it with the Phillies in Game 2, when they lost 10-0, I said, they're not going to win. They're not going to go back to Philly and win 2 games. After they lost 5-2 Game 1 or 5-3, and then they lose 10-0. Like, they have to at least win 2 at home. And well, they do. They proved me wrong. They won Game 3 in a walk-off, and Game 4 was a great comeback by Alec Thomas. They lost Game 5. And I went, okay, it was a good fight. They won Game 6. Pretty convincing fashion. And then Game 7, I was saying, well, what are you guys going to show me? I woke up that morning with a bunch of missed calls that I was going to go on strike that day at my job. So I went, oh, well, a much needed break. I work 6 days a week at my job. I've been mentally and a little physically fatigued. I was really hoping for a break. And it was the same day, Game 7 against Philly. I said, if they lose, it was a fun ride. It would have been really nice to beat Philly. But I can enjoy my break. And I'll check in on the World Series and see if the Rangers win or not. I like the Rangers. No, they had to win. And when I mentioned in my recap that I laughed and cried, it was a cry of happiness, but it was also a cry of, I'm not going to enjoy my time off. You hear the sound? Probably not. There's nothing. That's all I hear. Just silence. That's all I got. Sure, I could go to my parents' place and watch the game, but They're going to cheer for the Rangers, and I rather not make it awkward. They cheer for the Rangers because they live in Dallas. I live in Dallas. I'm alone in this series. And what you hear right now is silence. When they were making their run, they wanted the Diamondbacks to win, of course. It was such a long shot that they were going to win a series, any of them, Milwaukee, Dodgers, Phillies. The fact that they made it this far is inspirational. But now that the Rangers made it this far, it's almost like a curse. And when I say I'm done caring about this team so much. The third inning, when Seager hit that the 2-run homer, I actually breathed a sigh of relief. My heart was racing so bad. God, I wonder why. I wonder why my heart was racing so bad. And I let out a big, because I knew the game was lost. And if they came back and won, that'd be great. But it didn't happen, did it? So when I say that they lose these games, they lose them. I've seen it. People often wonder why I have no faith in the teams I love. Canucks, Grizzlies, Diamondbacks. 2011, that was the year I really fell in love with sports. The Canucks made the Stanley Cup. The Diamondbacks made the playoffs. The Grizzlies won their first ever playoff series on my birthday. I fell in love with sports. The Grizzlies got eliminated the next round. The Canucks lost the Stanley Cup after being up 3-2. They lost Game 6, and then they got shut out Game 7. The riots happened. And the Diamondbacks got walked off in the second round. I said, you know what? They showed fight. They're going to be back. No. None of them have. The Diamondbacks are back. But it's been the same story every year since. And sure, they won in 2011. 2001. My goodness, what am I talking about? They won in 2001. But I'm on the outside looking in. I didn't get to experience that World Series. I was 6 years old. 7. I love watching it. It was this new, young, franchise-wise team, because the team was old, going up against the Yankees, the evil empire who won 3 straight World Series, and they took them down Game 7 and they walk off. I say it's the best World Series ever. But I wasn't there. It's just a memory that I wish I could have had. But I was too young. I didn't know about sports back then. It just happened. It's fun. But I didn't experience the heartache of a season. This year I did experience the heartache of every game. And the reason it hurts is because I can't sleep at night. Because I know they can do it, and I know they still have a chance. I said snakes in 6. I think this recap may go 15 minutes. I'm on 15 seconds left. I said they have a chance. They still do. But it hurts. Garcia could be out. Could be. The Rangers have a bullpen day tomorrow, but for goodness sakes, the bullpen almost shut you out today. You got Mantiply tomorrow. He can get lit up in the first inning. Possibly. Sure, they could win 3 straight, win the World Series. I can't put the faith into it. I just want a break. You don't understand that if they win a World Series in my adulthood, it will change my life. Same with the Canucks, same with the Grizzlies. The Grizzlies screwed up their chances. They're 0-4 right now, by the way. I'm not even watching the games. They screwed up. The Canucks, I'm actually invested in them first time in a while because they had a good offseason. But they'll probably lose to the Sharks tomorrow, knowing them. Diamondbacks, I was so behind them, I started making recaps of every game, 162. And the fact that they made it this far is almost a curse. They weren't supposed to make it this far. The fact that they're even in this spot is amazing. But if it's all just to come up short at the end, I don't know if it was worth it. Of course it's worth it. The experience this team has gotten, of course it's worth it. But hey, at least the Rangers win their first World Series potentially if they do beat the Diamondbacks. Sure. Would you be happy for Mike Maddox? Sure. He's a good family friend. Look after his little dog, little Charlie Maddox. He's got a beautiful wife. He's got a beautiful home. Got a phenomenal legacy here. All these former players talk about just how great Mike is, and it means so much to him to win a World Series. It'd be the cherry on top of a beautiful life. I've got nothing. 29 years old now. I've got nothing. I've made zero impact in any stranger's life. Sure, I can provide a couple of giggles and chuckles. That's a legacy. That's the legacy. In a World Series win, it would change my life. That's all I've been thinking about since the Game 7 win in Philadelphia because it just didn't seem true. I've never had faith because it's been the same story every year with my teams. Why should I have faith if they've never been close? The one time one of my teams was close, they melted down. Why should I ever have faith in these teams? You know, there's a great quote in this song. This might be a half hour. I'm just going to end this rant whenever I want to. But there's a song by the Smiths, and it's called Heaven Knows I'm Miserable Now. And there's a great line in that song. And it's just called, why do I give valuable time to people who don't care if I live or die? And I'm not talking about the people that watch my recaps. I'm talking about sports in general. That's like a sports fan perfect quote for them. None of the players on the Diamondbacks watch my videos. Even if they did, they probably won't even make it this far. They don't care about me. None of the players in the Grizzlies ever cared about me. No one ever in the Canucks cared about me. Nobody gives a damn about Daffy. So why do I put so much effort and emotion into these teams I don't know why I do. Someone texted me right in the middle of this rant. I don't know why I do. And like I said, this could be so overblown, they could easily win tomorrow. It's a bullpen day for the Rangers. It's probably going to be Andrew Heaney starting. And hey, they don't have a good bullpen, but you saw what they did tonight. The Diamondbacks do have a good bullpen. But Rangers jump out early, which is extremely possible. And there's going to be no reason. You'll be down 3-1. And then, sure, it's house money at this point. If the Rangers blow a 3-1 lead, well, that'll be a chuckle fest for me. But I need to seriously stop caring about these teams. And it's not a bandwagon thing. It's not giving up hope. It's that when it happens all the time, it just wears on you. So, if the Diamondbacks prove me wrong again, and they've done that every single time, I won't even think of words to describe how happy I'll be. But I know if they do lose, it'll just rip me apart. That's why I can't be invested. If they lose, I know it will still be a magical season. It will still be an absolute overachievement of the ages. I know that. But it would just mean so much more because it was so unexpected. It's like the story of my life. If they went into a season as the favorites, which next year they probably will, they'll probably be ranked in the top 10 of teams in the power rankings going into the season. And then there'll be a favorite, and then it's like, okay, now you're expected to win. They weren't expected to win at all. It's the ultimate underdog story. They're not expected to win at all. And if they do, it will be the greatest story ever. Even better than 2001. Because, 9/11 happened, and if the Yankees won, it would have been a huge emotional win for them. But then this new team comes along and just says, hey, we won. So, I don't know how my emotions are going to be tonight. At least they play in 24 hours. I don't have to wait another day. But if they do win, I still will have to wait another day for them to win in Texas. They got to win tomorrow. I can't handle a Game 7. And the scary thing for me is that this is like the last chance. Which may be a crazy thing to say. A last chance. Your best player is 21 years old. Your phenom catcher is 23. The future is so bright in Arizona. The future can be bright all you want. It does not mean a guaranteed success story. Did you know that since I was born in 1994, only 3 times has a team made it to the World Series back-to-back in the National League? The Dodgers, the Braves, and the Phillies. That's it. Only 3 times. Do you think the Diamondbacks are going to do that? It's not a guarantee they're going to make a World Series next year. Not even a guarantee they're going to make the NLCS or the NLDS. Hell, they may not even make the playoffs next year. All it would take maybe is one injury. or one cold streak. Baseball is the hardest sport when it comes to continued success. It's the hardest of all the four sports. NBA, hell, 10 teams make the playoffs now. It's not hard at all. Hockey, 8 teams make the playoffs. Football, a couple of fluke wins, you're in the playoffs. Baseball, it's 162 games. Who's going to be in the NL next year? Well, the Dodgers, they can buy anybody. And sure, you're not really afraid of them anymore. You swept them. But you also went up against an old Kershaw, a rookie in Miller, and Lance Lynn. Imagine if Buehler comes back, or Urias, or Gonsolin, or May. The guys that are actually killing it for them all year. What about the Phillies? They're going to want revenge. They saw what Alek Thomas did in Game 7 where he planted a flag in their home turf. They're going to want revenge next year. And they made the World Series the year before. So you know they're going to be extra motivated to make it now. The Braves, they locked up their core for like the next 8 years. They're going to be a threat. I mean, there's so many people wanting your throat next year. The Mets, sure, they're rebuilding, but they got all the money in the world and they got an owner that spends. The Padres, heck, I thought they were going to win the division this year and they were a disaster. Who knows what they're going to be this year or next year? The Giants have a lot of money. They got Bob Melvin as their manager. I like Bob. It is far from a guarantee that Arizona is even going to be a playoff team next year. Meanwhile, in the American League, the Rangers are missing DeGrom. He'll be back next season, I believe. What about the Yankees? I know they're slow and they're old, but hey, the Martian looks good. Looked really good for them at the end of the season. They're going to be a threat because they spend, not in the smartest of ways, but they made the ALCS last year. They got swept by the Houston Astros, but they're going to be a threat. Not really. That was my point. They're not going to be really much of a threat because I messed up my own unit. I messed up my own comparison. That's what happens when you ran for a long time. The Yankees are old and slow. Sure, they got a good young guy, but they're old and slow, and they got Cashman as the manager, and he's a dinosaur. That's what I meant. I had too many of these. Houston Astros blew up their team, probably. Dusty's going to retire. They're all old now. The Rays have a horrible situation to deal with their stadium and Wander Franco. The only team that may be a threat is Baltimore, but their manager lucked into some young guys, and he didn't sign any vets or any veteran presence that's like substantial enough for them in the playoffs. They had to rely on young pitchers. They're not too far away from Arizona. Heck, 2 years ago, they had the same record. Baltimore had one less win than Arizona, and they both had pretty similar stories. So if I'm Texas, there's not a team in the American League that I'm threatened by. And the same can be said for Arizona. You beat Milwaukee. You beat the Dodgers. You beat the Phillies. They're going to want you next year. So, I'll go on for another 6 minutes because I said half hour. I was planning on the last game of the series to be a half hour, whether it's a win or a loss. I really doubt it's a win. But like I said, I emotionally am taking myself out of this series. So if they lose tomorrow, I'll say, well, you're going to have to do something that not many teams have done. It's come back from a 3-1 deficit. It'll be fun. Try. There's no pressure. If they tie it tomorrow, then they have a game 5 to take a lead with Gallen versus Evaldi, but Gallen has given up a run in the first inning in every showing. And the team that scores first between Texas and Arizona wins. Texas hasn't lost a road game all year in the playoffs. I'd be crazy if it was all season. Why should I have faith? I should have faith because they keep proving me wrong. But then when I get excited, I get this weight on my chest that doesn't go away. Because it's all I have is sports. It's all I have. I have a family that loves me. I have a roof over my head. God bless them. I love them. But all I have in terms of entertainment is sports. I'm watching hockey right now. Arizona Coyotes up 6-1 on the Blackhawks. Wow. It's the only thing I can really keep myself distracted from. I can't think about baseball. Till it's game time. Yeah, that's the thing. Since I'm on strike at my job, I used to be able to go to work and forget about baseball because I'm at my job. Now that I'm on strike, the silence. That's all I hear. So, Joe Mansupply is going to start tomorrow. Andrew Heaney starts tomorrow. Cool. That's my recap for Game 4 probably. Game 4 is probably going to be me just staying in front of the camera going, oh, cool. D-backs won. D-backs lose. And it hurts because I know it's only 2 games. They just looked better than the Rangers in those 2 games. And I know Game 1 they lost. But they made the right moves. And that was relatively okay despite the results. And it hurt, but I didn't think they messed up. Game 2, they played flawlessly. And I knew that it'd be hard to repeat that. In Game 3 tonight, with all the momentum, you're at home, you have home field advantage. You came up extremely short. And the Rangers took advantage of you early. Sure, they got shut out the rest of the way, but it didn't matter at that point. It just didn't matter. So, that was my wackadoodle recap of World Series Game 3. I think people, the 3 of you that watch these, are going to look at the runtime and go, 30 minutes? He just rambled on for 30 minutes? So it's like, yeah. I kind of had this bundle up in my chest for a while now. And I would love it more than anything in the world to be proven wrong. Oh my God, would I. But when you've been right every year for the past 12 years, you're going to have doubts. The Grizzlies are done. The Canucks, who knows with them. Diamondbacks, even though they were ranked pretty low in the power rankings, I still had faith. I had enough faith where I was going to do recaps. And the fact that I'm at this point, this late into the season, this deep into it, I should be happy, and I know I'm going to be when the dust settles. But it just hurts more. It's just going to hurt more. I hope to sleep better tonight. I really do. But I should if I'm taking myself out of it.